To kick this one off, everybody, welcome to the stream. It's the Kung Fu Cup number 30. We have no music on, do we? Oops, that's not the button. There we go. It was a little bit oddly quiet going into game there. It was like, wait a second. Something was missing. Well, we fixed it, guys. How about that? Bottom right-hand side, our blue Protoss player is PartinG. And he goes up against the first round matchup of his lifetime. It's the red Terran on the top left-hand side, ByuN, here in this $400 event here today. You know, I was thinking about this when we got started, and I was just thinking, like, I really don't feel as though ByuN has done that well against PartinG lately, so I did a little bit of looking up and exploring, and since ByuN returned from the military, and started to play StarCraft again, they've played 5 times. Offline, ByuN is 2-0. Both times they played in GSL round of 24, and round of 16, ByuN 2-1, ByuN 2-0. Since then, PartinG has just had ByuN's number in online events. Asusara G qualifier, PartinG 2-0. PartinG then qualified, ByuN had to go through the lower bracket, eventually beat a laser, and eventually went on to win that tournament. TSL 6 qualifier, PartinG 2-1 ByuN. We casted that one as well. PartinG would go on to play against I can't remember. That was the first qualifier. I can't remember. PartinG went on to qualify that day as well, though, and, well, qualified. Looked good. And then they actually just played about a week ago in the Into the Alpha X Trovo weekly event. That was 3-1 for PartinG. A little bit of a less important event. That really is just an online cup. But the thing is, when you talk about ByuN, you know, online cups are his life. You know, this guy plays anything and everything. So it's not like it's not like a lot of plays where you're like, oh well, you know, this is an online event, so I don't think it really counts. So I don't really think that we should really kind of, maybe he wasn't playing. No, ByuN actually always plays to win everything. And I know there are some players out there who genuinely, you know, they play these cups to win, obviously, but they don't go, you know, they don't go all out. ByuN is just not like that. So yeah, as we do see the first Adept showing up. So Marine's going to push this Adept away in a little bit of a skirmish at the start to get things a little bit exciting, really. The Adept goes up to the high ground. PartinG has got a proxied up pylon. It's going to lead us into a Stargate in the early few stages. I'm just going to be seeing the Adept shading forward to try and see where it can get to with the Sorka support, but with the bunker up, I don't imagine there's going to be much to really get done right now. Another Adept shade just going to go through. And again, the Stargate out. Still about to finish up. So PartinG sticking to his aggressive tendencies. Obviously, this is not quite a Twilight Council and 4 gates of Blink Stalkers, which we so often see, but the proxied up Stargate pretty much the next best way to get very aggressive very early in a PvT. Which is obviously something that PartinG really does, again, just play aggressively a lot of the time. You know, that is just, you know, if we have to describe PartinG's playstyle, I think aggression is always going to be the one word that comes to mind: aggressive, micro-oriented play. So no surprise at all to see this setup initially. But what's really cool about PartinG is that it isn't just about aggression. It's not like if this Oracle flops, he's out of this game. You know, he really can transition. He really can play into later stages. He really can say, oh, you know what, like, you know, let's get into like 3 base, 4 base, play later game. And yeah, he's maybe not the best later game player in the world, but he's definitely not bad at it. And that's where the, you know, the power of being kind of like a micro-focused player is, where if you can get to those later armies, you're very good at using them typically, which is obviously good news. A couple SCVs off to the side there, so that's a bit of a mistake, as this medevac actually saw that the Stargate was still producing Phoenix, so you're going to know now what's up. As this Widow Mine drop comes in, looks to deal some damage. ByuN will unload 1, 2, and just the 2 Widow Mines may try and cause some chaos here. You see, oftentimes when you make a 3rd Widow Mine, you often... Oh, that's actually nice. Not even a probe over here. Actually just gets the Stalkers. This Widow Mine goes into the main. He actually gets 6 workers. I guess that was 5 more that went off over to the side. That's 6 probes in total going down. Yeah, I mean, obviously this medevac had to make the play because the Phoenix was here, was going to go down. Sometimes when you have 3 Widow Mines, what we've seen a lot of is that you show 2 and then you kind of lift them up and save them, and then they don't assume there's another shot available just yet. And so they're not ready for the 3rd Widow Mine that then drops out and can do really well too. So, yeah, I kind of like it, if I'm going to be honest. I kind of I kind of think it's been a pretty fun thing to see. Obviously, we didn't get to see it here. The Phoenix forces the third Widowmine drop very early, but he's still got a good connection. 5 extra probes off to this side. Hey, that's not bad. And remember, he also killed a Stalker too. Those are the sort of pickoffs that you generally really are very happy with, because those are the kind of kills that just slow parting down on the follow-up here as well. And the thing is, Stalkers aren't great right now either. So you're forcing Stalker Warpins anyway. That's fantastic because you've got Phoenix. You're not going Blink Stalkers, so your Stalkers don't have Blink. They're not really going to be used as drop defense. They are just the, oh crap, I need some units right now to clean this up sort of unit in this scenario. As the Phoenix get active, they actually do eat a Widowmine shot. So they're going to go low, but hard to imagine they're actually going to go down. 6 SCVs killed will bring PartinG back into the worker lead we so often expect to see Protoss players on. Let's just have against him combat shield, +1 attack, all the good stuff pouring on in right now from ByuN. A couple of Widowmines coming along with this, and again there go our Phoenix out through the top of the map. The Bio was about to go and reveal itself on this Stargate, but then he actually loads up 2 medevacs. So as this pylon will go down, I'm just going to get rid of the Stargate as well. In general, just going to see what this turns into is, or what this turns into is that Bio Army is going to get rid of this Stargate. Getting rid of that pretty much immediately here, and just going to be seeing our Phoenix now going to recall as the drop gets into the main. So I guess this observer got to see what was going on this bottom side. Bio is going to be stimming forward, and we've got ourselves a Phoenix that goes down already. Now the medevac taking a few more shots. Oracle being super battery. Good defense, really, but the extra units are about to show up, and we'll see what difference they can make. Oh, those Widowmines went a bit far forward, didn't they? If the Widowmines had just burrowed up there, could we have done anything? Probably not. I think ByuN just loses a bit too much in the drop before everything else shows up, which is obviously just a bit of a shame. Now we pull back, cross over to the left-hand side. So our Bio Army will regather. Everything loading. Just going to be seeing a few gateways setting up still from PartinG in the main base. And again, ByuN going to come around the top right-hand side. Couple Marauders, couple Widowmines. All of this continuing through as you do see +1 attack, charge, all of the good stuff. Continuing in for the moment. We're just going to keep on dropping and keep on being aggressive. I mean, against this Colossus style seems to be the plan is he actually cleans out all the Zealots there, so the Widowmines are going to be left and actually blows up one of the sentries, gets the denial and +1 attack upgrade, and honestly only loses a medevac of units so far. Also has units on the third base. Widowmine's going to burrow up. Probes are going to pull. He has to turn them away. Good turnaround, because otherwise they were going to lead onto each other, and that was going to be more damage. In the main base, ByuN going crazy as well, as he's just going to go all over and really put out the hurt. Again, all you have to really clean this up is, or to shut this down, I suppose, is Phoenix. So when your Phoenix aren't quite there and getting rid of the medevacs, you just kind of, it's not like Blink Stalkers coming in, medevacs getting shot down, so the medevacs have really just stuck around forever and really been able to relocate units multiple times now to keep this power up. I mean, you find so many good trades in this, and he's also started to kill Phoenix as well, so your drop defense for the future is now falling apart. After charge finishes, we go straight into Blink, and that will have to be the future of your drop defense, but you also just lost a lot of units here. I mean, there are only 6 Stalkers left on this map at the moment. I mean, just not having charge for that fight also hurt as well for all of those fights, right? Zealots that are slowly wandering forward very rarely find the, the use that you're looking for out of Zealots. And, it was painful over here watching a couple of Zealots just being like, we're gonna get there. The Bio Army just kills the Forge, and then it's like, okay, now we're gonna go to the main base. Charge is just such a powerful upgrade. The speed of those units and the ability to really just get them into the fight makes such a huge difference. So that finishing so late is obviously painful, as, yeah, this is annoying too. You've got Widowmines that are going to drop in a few different places. We are at the point now where we do... Actually, we do not have an armory. Sorry, I thought with the Revelation it was preparing for the need to detect. Widowmine in every mineral line, though. That's all 3 Widowmines, or all 3 mineral lines, sorry, that have to pull away for at least a few moments. So that's even just that, in that regard, a little bit of an income boost for ByuN. He was going into a lot of Vikings as a response to this. Not going to go into 2-2 upgrades just yet. It's gonna say, yeah, we'll move in towards the Vikings, get an answer to the Colossi up. And I like that, because how often do you see with this drop-heavy style a Terran who all of a sudden just lost a couple too many units, and then the Protoss army arrives across the map, and because you don't have a lot of bio left over, you end up losing the game because the Colossi just really dominate the fight, and you need an overwhelming amount of bio to win that, and that doesn't happen if you've been trading out bio and drops. With Vikings, it makes it way safer for these kind of, defenses, basically. So yeah, you sacrifice some upgrades. You're way ahead on upgrades anyway. It's still 1-1 against, about to be +1 now. The Vikings really do just keep you very safe in this scenario, and I like it a lot as Vikings going to get to work, and First Colossus has to be saved in the prison. That pretty much just says no to the fight in general. He's going to get one Colossus now on the runaway from PartinG. And that's just going to be it. As PartinG realizes he's losing way too much. He knows the drop's got too much damage done. And ByuN is going to end up taking game 1 of this best of. As we start off in the bottom left-hand side with the blue Protoss player, this is PartinG. Down a game. Kind of got ripped apart by the drops of ByuN, who is hence red Terran player in the upper right-hand side. I actually really like that the TvP meta is almost taking a turn towards like just heavy drop play. We've seen Hero Marine really utilizing it a lot. Clem has been very active with medevacs again lately. I don't know. It feels like for a long time TvT was really about a lot of you build up, you sit back, you make a tank push happen or something, and right now it's really taken a much more aggressive stance. And I really appreciate it. Like, I don't know, there's just something about watching the scrappiness of, like, dropping games. And okay, sometimes my little Terran babies, they do kind of go a little bit too far, and they do lose a little bit too much stuff, and they die to a silly counterattack. But, honestly, it's very fun to watch, right? It's very active on the map. There's stuff everywhere. It's just entertaining. It is a fun style, so I really kind of hope that this sticks around. I hope that this is something which continues to happen. At least for a little while. Because really, TvT has been about, like, all of those tank pushes or defending Blink and, building up a larger army. Obviously, we get to, like, bio armies, don't get me wrong, and drops have been a thing, but not this kind of style of drop one way with 4 medevacts, push the third with another 2, into the main base we go, taking advantage of the army movement. You know what I mean? Like, that's the, that's when the drops really get exciting, and that's what we've really seen a lot of in the past, honestly, like, past couple of weeks almost now. It's been entertaining for sure. There's a command center bunker coming up at the front. I want to note here earlier that it is just 3 Marines again. ByuN really not a fan of Reaper openings in TvP especially. He really does like a lot more Marine-focused openers. And that's one of the powers and scary parts of ByuN, that he does switch it up quite a lot, actually, when it comes to these builds. Definitely makes it very interesting a lot of the time, as Blink coming in on the Twilight Council. Getting that up and ready to go. A couple extra gates coming through. Onto the natural expansion. And that probe moving around the right-hand side. Warp gate's about to be finished from PartinG. And yeah, all of this getting up and running as our starport is about to complete up in the main base. Widow Mine of ByuN burrows off over to the corner. And the pylon setting up on that right side as well. Medevac's on the way out from ByuN, and again, just going to be going into a little Widow Mine drop to begin with here. So, a Widow Mine drop, I'd imagine, at least. We'll see if he maybe does anything different with it, as PartinG just 3 gates into that robo facility. Has the Blink on the way, so very standard from him as well. This is not a set of Stalkers that really go out to be hyper-aggressive or anything. And I guess we're going to see extra gases taken, so we're going to go to Robo Bay pretty much as the robo facility finishes, and make his play straight at Colossus. So Not a faster third base here from PartinG. Instead, just going to say, right, let's play it a little bit more slowly. And let's play into, well, maybe a bit of a pressure here, a bit of aggression. I do imagine a RoboBay comes down. We switch toward Colossi quite quick. ByuN might be in some trouble, actually. There is not really anything here to defend these Stalkers. So they're going to blink up Marines, and he's going to have to pull SCVs. So yeah, these Stalkers actually are going to be a little bit scary, aren't they? Well, SCVs are going to come in. The Marines are going to do what they can. But you already lost 6 workers. Now, across the map, that's where damage will be done by these Widow Mines. Gets 5 probes. Oh, he gets 2 more on the high ground. Well handled by PartinG. Nice attempt from ByuN to go somewhere interesting there, as he has the boost, and he will just unload and burrow one more time. So it's 6 SCVs down versus the 7 probes. Obviously, I think the big part of this is even just make PartinG look home again. Right, the fact that PartinG has to kind of take a moment away from the upper right side and be like, oh crap, what's going on in my main base? And sort that out. That's a process which is obviously very expensive when it comes to your attention. Your attention really gets drawn to it, so that's definitely something to be a bit concerned about there, as you are going to have the Stalkers taking quite a few hits. Marines get there and push those Stalkers off over the left-hand side. RoboBay still coming through on the natural expansion. Just going to see +1 attack on the engineering base. Stim on the way up. Marauder, a couple Marines, tank. All of this continuing through. And just going to be seeing again our little army of ByuN gathering up together. We'll see a call down depot going down in this main base as well. Just making sure he's not supply blocked. A little bit of a macro mistake there. Pretty fun start to this game. I love that this medevac, by the way. Super low HP, just here with 1 Widow Mine. It's just going to sit there forever. You know, keeps the Stalker on patrol. It's going to be hard to do anything with it, but if there is ever a moment where PartinG messes up and F2s and brings the Stalker away, yeah, drop into a mineral line in a crazy moment, 1 Widow Mine can do a lot, right? So I like the idea that he kept that alive and at least tries to make it a bit of a threat. It's something you have to at least think about. And while PartinG is likely good enough to make sure it doesn't really do anything, but still, you know, the attempts. You know, if you don't get any rewards if you don't try. So you gotta try make these plays before anything else. I think ByuN knows his observers here. That's a good time to move forward and snipe that observer, because PartinG is really poised to maybe look for another blink in if he found the opportunity. By getting rid of the observer, you make, you know, moving out onto the map a little bit easier, and even just 8 Marines and a medevac moving out is the sort of thing that you would have noticed a little bit more easily beforehand as PartinG. As the hallucination gets denied, I don't think you really have the Stalker kind of blink in and do crazy things, but maybe if you don't see enough Bio, you blink in, you kill this depot off or so. Obviously, even just the observer not seeing the medevac leaving with the Bio units is kind of a big deal as well, as now you push out at the front, medevac saves the tank too, so PartinG kind of looks at this and says, well, there is a medevac here as well. I don't know how likely it is that PartinG is really respecting the medevac coming down the left-hand side. I don't think it's really on his mind at all right now. I think this is going to be really kind of a case of deal with it as it arrives. He moves units from the natural to the third base. These Marines begin to unload. They take the attention of this Stalker away. This Widow Mine can come back in as well. So now he's going to maybe make the play to allow this Widow Mine to get a little bit more done. Couple Zealots warped in. They're going to die quickly as the Marines sit in a little choked up area, and probes will start to go down. Main fight happens though, and Stalker's blinking on top of the tanks. And it looks like ByuN just doesn't have enough over here. Its charge is a few seconds away. Obviously, charge finishing is a pretty big play. Oh my god, the probes just transferred over here. The Widow Mine gets a big kill. Stalker blinks. The medevac actually got away. He probably wasn't expecting that to happen. Okay, I mean, still, 13 probes is not bad. Some of the damage in the main, probes pulled. I liked it. He played around the medevac that he kept alive. We mentioned it earlier about how he might be able to make something of it. He actually created the opportunity for himself. He said, right, if I drop the main, this Stalker might be used to respond. It was. And then he drops the natural with the Widow Mine, where the probes actually pulled you to try and stay safe. Just a nice little combination from ByuN, playing around the units he had out on the map already and what he was trying to make work. And so you see PartinG going to move out. I mean, this is the typical sort of, you're playing aggressively sort of thing. I'm going to try and make sure I can come across the map and, you know, try and counterattack you, because I feel like you're losing a lot of units. This is a huge drop, by the way, and it's a huge drop where there isn't really any way to get back home. I mean, is there recall available? Not really. A few units moved out the front there, and that was a bit of a mistake. They went down for free, and that does power up this attack of PartinG, but there are multiple tanks here, and you're going to start holding the high ground too. These Stalkers already going down. The Bio comes down to the low ground, and that will just continue to go after Probes, pylons, shutting down gateways, stopping warp-ins. Obviously, this turns into a bit of a base trade. I do like the base trade for ByuN, though, because he has a lot of stuff to make the base trade happen quickly. And I don't think there's actually really a lot to break ByuN's position with at home at all. So ByuN's just going to land the CC back down. He's killed 26 workers, only lost 18 of his own. That's what I mean. PartinG didn't do a lot over here. He killed a tank and a few SCVs, yes. That's about it. You know, PartinG lost a main base. He lost power to a lot of his gateways. Yes, he has a third base of his own up and running. He has a lot of batteries over here in preparation of a defense. ByuN was obviously able to bring those units back home, and, well, now he's on his way to Vikings, so he's going to get a better army composition against what he's playing against than he had previously. I like it a lot for ByuN at the moment. I think the scariest thing for ByuN... I don't know if it's scary at all, actually. With a few Vikings up and the tanks all siege like that, nice catch on the Observer again. I actually just like it. I love this as well. So if PartinG comes up to try and attack once more, he has the essential flank in from the left-hand side, and that could just be the Colossus killer. There are only so many sentries, so you kind of see this moving forward. And you just keep this set of units over here. PartinG must be afraid. Yeah, he's left so many Stalkers at home because he doesn't know where this set of units are, right? So he feels like he needs to defend. He feels the likely outcome is that he's going to have to put that into the third base, or there's going to be a drop in the main base. Instead, this bio army walks across the map. That might just be a dead natural expansion. I mean, Stalkers are not going to... This army is great at stopping this army from... No, this army is great at stopping it from dropping if it tries to drop into the main. It's not great at actually fighting. The probes pull in and they actually do pretty well. Stalkers, no blink. Units do get to unload. PartinG coming home with the rest of the army. And this just turned into, you know, an extra 7 probes killed from ByuN. Actually doesn't have the best of time, and he will lose everything here. He cleaned up a few Zealots, a few Stalkers as well, though. I mean, well handled by PartinG. He was right to have units back at home, and he gets a good clean out. I do think ByuN has to do something, though, because this does pull the army back and maybe allows him to take the third position. Now that he's got a few extra Vikings. That's something he couldn't do before, so... That's why he probably looks to kind of make that move rather than just sitting here with these ByuNs for the flank if PartinG hits the natural, because PartinG probably says if you don't have a third base, I probably don't need a natural anyway. ByuN's going to need to scan just to check which of these Colossi are real, of course. As we're going to be seeing him pulling back quite a bit. The Colossi going to be found now, and the micro starts. The Vikings doing what they can. The tanks just providing really good coverage. As ByuN gets rid of the fake Colossus, and now he's going to start getting rid of the real ones. The micro on the Prism is decent, but it will not last forever, especially with Vikings hot and chase and only 3 Stalkers left over. Everything is going to go down. And looks as though ByuN is going to win his first online match against PartinG since returning from the military. And PartinG won 3 in a row. Had only lost 2 out of 5 matches, and those were the ones in GSL, which is obviously played offline. GG's from PartinG, and ByuN is going to take it 2-0. Pretty exciting series. What I really love from ByuN in these games is that he really just respected what he was going to die to. He was never open to the huge counterattack. He was always buying time or prepared to make sure he could deal with the counterattack. Or if he couldn't deal with the counterattack, I mean, obviously, even when it became a bit of a base trade, the tank setup here really provided him coverage so that PartinG couldn't continue to counterattack. So he had the defense with enough units on the map to really, you know, kill off a base, put some pressure on, and force PartinG to say, right, I need to go home, otherwise this is not turning out well for me. I liked it. It was a fun series to watch. GG's ByuN 2-0 in the Kung Fu Cup.